Before we start this episode, I wanted to tell you that if you're looking for free dog training courses, you can take the Victoria Stilwell Academy's most popular free course, Building Your Dog's Confidence, right now by going to vsdogtrainingacademy.com. That's vsdogtrainingacademy.com. Okay, now on with the podcast. I did a TikTok the other day where I got really excited because I talked about this magnificent course that we are working on. Magnificent course on reactivity for guardians that we are working on and that will be coming out soon, available to anybody around the world. And I had just finished recording some of the narration. And I was so excited, I just had to get on to social media platforms and just crow about it. And then I got like, oh, I don't want to toot my own horn. And I know I need to, it sounds like I'm bragging, but you know what? I'm so proud of this. I'm so proud of this. And I've created this course along with the amazing Aly Lecznar and Maya Huff-Owen. Today I have Aly Lecznar speaking to us about all things dog, but also the Positively courses and how they can help you and your dog. She is a fabulous trainer in her own right. She is the curriculum manager for Positively and VSA. She is an extraordinary teacher, and she is super uber talented with dogs. You'll hear her because you've heard her on this Positively podcast, talking when we have our group discussions, which I always love. But I'm just so pleased to have her here by herself. Welcome, Aly.
Thanks, Victoria. Yeah, I'm excited to be one-on-one with you and get to talk about like nerdy stuff, like nerdy course stuff.
Can we truly be nerds?
Oh, please, please, please.
You give us permission? All right, that's good because we're going to be nerdy. Right, the Positively courses. On the website, it says, dramatically, uncover the true potential of you and your dog's relationship with Victoria Stilwell's dynamic library of interactive online Positively dog training courses. And if you take a course, you'll see what we mean. We'll see why we're so excited about them. So tell us about these courses.
Can we talk about dynamic and interactive? Because I think that's what set our courses apart is, number one, they're all in HD, which I think is a really big deal. And they're not repurposed from anything, so it's not like a seminar that we gave someone that we recorded that we're then sharing with our learners. No, this is purpose built for the audience that we're actually targeting, which I think is really neat. Because I've been to some webinars and, I don't want to hate. And sometimes I feel really cool sitting in on like a lecture to vet students that then is shared with trainers, which is cool because then I feel like, oh, it's almost like I'm in vet school. But on the other hand, it's not for trainers. They're not talking to me. They're not using examples for me. And so that's why I think it's really neat that we purpose built these courses for guardians and specifically talking about the things that they're dealing with.
And when you're saying about the things that we're dealing with, what are we talking about?
So we're talking about anything and everything when it comes to living your best life with your dog at home. So this is specifically for guardians and their own personal dogs at home, although it can also help a wide variety of folks, from shelter folks, groomers, vets, really anyone that wants to know about dog training and behavior. But it's really about working with the dog in front of you and possibly working with client dogs as well. But these courses vary from life skills, which is what some people call them basic manners, but a lot of these, they're not just sit and down. We teach things like it's all good and go sniff and settle, things that you can actually apply. One of my biggest pet peeves in the dog training world, and this is something that I saw in my training life, is that people would come to me when their dog's about 2 years old. Now, they took a group class when their dog was 6 months, and yet their dog doesn't remember anything, and they don't really either. The good news is a lot of them say like, well, it's because we didn't keep working on it, which is true. But a lot of it's that learning is gone. there's some really scary statistics about how much of our learning we lose after 6 months of graduating from college. I think it's like 90% or something, which is like devastating. Victoria is someone who's paying for college right now.
Yeah, right. Please don't say that. Please.
I'm sorry. But we really do have to apply these things. And so that's what the Positively courses do, is they help you apply your learning right away as you're doing the course. So because they're dynamic, because there's a lot of video and a lot of activities and even workbooks and worksheets and handouts, all these things to help you actually apply what you're learning right in the moment so that we don't have that loss in learning.
And when we developed these courses, we targeted things that we thought people really needed at the time. And, we can't do everything at once, but we wanted to build that foundation first, a foundation of understanding. And I'd like to go through some of these courses so that we can talk about each one and how they can help guardians and, as you said, trainers, vet techs, groomers, dog sitters, dog walkers with dogs, not just their own dogs, but dogs that they are working with. So let's talk about, we've got a number of free courses, including the Positively Pillars and the Harmony Model. These are sort of the central foundation for everything that we do at Positively, and really the central tenets that you need to know to live your best dog life.
Yeah, so the Positively Pillars is really our foundational flagship course. And so this is what everything is founded upon. Again, the pillars that like hold up our whole platform of training. And so without these pillars, some things can fall through the cracks. So this is a great place to start to learn that you want to, of course, use positive reinforcement, but also that you want to understand the dog from the dog's point of view. So if we do these 4 pillars, if we follow these four pillars, that's a tongue twister, Vic, that then everything else can follow. And the Harmony Model is the same way. The Harmony Model are 5 elements that you can use to interact and help you live the most harmonious life with your dog. So you can build up your foundation with the pillars, and then you want to be sure everything is flowing and harmonious with the Harmony Model. So using these things, honestly, you can solve a lot of your problems right away by just watching these things, which is incredible. And the fact that we offer them for free is fantastic. So whether you're a shelter volunteer or you're a guardian that's just dipping their toe in training, or you just got a new puppy, or you're thinking about getting a dog or adopting one, these are really for you.
Yeah, I love the Positively Pillars in the Harmony Model, because I think they put everything into perspective. They truly make everything clear and simple, and give people the roadmap that they need to live the best lives that they can with their dogs, at least to understand their dogs better, because we know that behavioral issues can be exacerbated by poor understanding. We know that people are trying to do their best, but if you don't understand, or you don't appreciate your dog's needs, for example, you're never going to be able to give them what they need. You're never going to be able to, you might be able to train them to do something, but that's not going to address the root of the issue that your dog has. By adding more stuff on top in terms of training dogs to do different things is not really going to help that issue. So I think the Positivity Pillars and the Harmony Model really show that and give people that sort of wonderful launch pad, as it was.
Yeah, you really need to watch the Harmony Model almost before you watch anything else. And if not, you can fill in as you go. But a lot of our courses refer to the Harmony Model. They refer to the Positively Pillars, because we're so excited that guardians are excited about training. That's usually why they come to positively.com. Mm-hmm. Sometimes their trainer recommends them to come to positively.com, or hopefully some of our vets are starting to refer them to positively.com for their training and behavior needs. But say, for instance, you're struggling with leash pulling with your dog, or maybe even you're struggling with lunging and barking, that your walks are just really, really unpleasant. One thing to consider is that if your dog's in pain, many times we show, or evidence suggests, that a lot of dogs that are experiencing reactivity experience pain. And this isn't something that you notice. Dogs don't often show signs of pain until it's really serious. They don't really offload their weight and limp like humans do until a lot more of the limb is compromised. So what I mean by that is that if you're looking at the elements of harmony first before you start training, it will help you right away, because we could start training your dog and using positive reinforcement and getting out there and spending your time, money, effort in this. But if something as fundamental as your dog is in pain, that's going to make training more complicated. And it could be as simple as communication as well. So all 5 elements of harmony impact the training. And it's something we want to consider before we even start training, which is what the Positively Pillars suggest. So this is why we start with these 2 courses. But Vic, my favorite thing about our course catalog is that they don't have to be taken in order.
No.
Really, the courses can be taken at any time. So even if you have a problem, like you want to help your dog's reactivity, you don't have to start with the harmony model. You can go straight to the reactivity course, and then you can watch harmony model or supplement it as you go along.
So, right. When people are like, okay, it's all very well, great information. I actually don't have the time to sit down and do an actual course. And I say to that, well, get you. I'm busy like anything. It's crazy. And I would love to have time to sit down and do more courses than I have time to do. But the beauty of this is that, well, number one, some of them are, don't take a long time. You can sit down there for 30 minutes and get a whole ton of information, right? So grab a cup of coffee and put your feet up and just learn, just absorb for 30 minutes. You're fine. But the other thing as well is that it really, these courses are entertaining, because some of the courses that I've taken, they can be relatively boring, and it's just a lot of text, and it's just a lot. It's kind of exhausting. And so you don't get through the course, but this is entertaining. It's got great animation and video and demos and quizzes and things to keep adult learners happy and focused, because it is hard for us to focus, especially in this very quick world.
Yeah. And this is definitely where we can nerd out, because as someone who's had a lot of training in adult learning, this is my passion, that adult learners have needs when they go to learn something new. They need to know what the purpose is. So at the beginning of every lesson, we tell you what the purpose of this lesson is and what you're going to learn as you move through the module. We also connect it to what you already know. So we try and retrieve that information from your long-term memory of what you already know and how you can connect with the information that we're presenting, which is really important, because that's really how adults and children learn, is to connect to what they already know and help it mesh, help it fit in. And we also help you implement it right away, which is really important. And we use a method that you watch it and then you do it. So we have a demo video that you get to watch so you understand it. We also provide handouts that are written down. So Vic, there are several common learning myths, and one of them is that we have different learning styles, and that's actually not totally true. If you may call yourself a visual or a verbal learner, but really what they are preferences. It's something that we believe we have, but if you do believe that you learn best one way or the other, we have that media for you. So we have printed handouts that you can print. We have videos that you can watch. You listen to the whole thing. But yeah, there is not a ton of text in this course. And what I mean by that is we follow the rule of 5s. So there's no more than 5 bullet points on a slide, and there's no more than 5 words per bullet point. Because this isn't a course that you need to read. This is something that you watch, something that you experience. So we have a lot more visuals. We have really cool, these visuals that we're using. We use video. We also use different graphics to help explain different concepts. So I think that's what drives our courses and really sets them apart, is that, again, they're purpose built just for this one purpose and for you, the learner. And they're also really entertaining, like you said. I mean, if you enjoy watching It's Me or the Dog, you're going to enjoy these courses for sure. And they can be listened to. I do not recommend it as an adult learning expert to watch them while you're washing the dishes, but they are navigation free, meaning you can skip around. So if you want to skip ahead to a part, if you're looking on the navigation, on the menu, on the side, the outline, you can skip ahead to the parts that you really want to watch if you want to skip ahead to those demo videos. But what I hope will happen is that you're so drawn in by those demo videos that you think, gosh, you know what, maybe I should make more time and I should watch the rest of this course.
Yeah, I love that. Now, we were talking about the harmony model. And at the center of harmony, the part that makes the full flower is brave. And I say it's a flower because it's a really, really pretty graphic, I have to say. It gets me. It's ribbons that look like a flower, and that's each strand, as it were, of the harmony model. But at the center of the harmony model is brave. And brave is a new way of thinking about your dog's life experience. It focuses on developing and maintaining coping strategies for all dogs. And I remember when I was thinking about this, of like, how do we encourage our dogs, or how do we make it easier for our dogs to be able to cope with life's challenges? Because they are living in weird environments, and we need to help them. We need to guide them. So how can we help them do this most effectively? And especially with dogs as well that have anxiety issues, but really for every dog, they're going to at some point go to a situation where they don't feel comfortable. How can we help them meet those challenges? And this word brave came up in my mind, and I'm like, I love that. Because I think our dogs are brave anyway. But brave stands for being bold, resilience, adaptable, valued, and empowered. And being bold, obviously, we're not thinking that dogs need to go and go up and meet 100 people and show courage and everything. We're not saying that, but we're saying that dogs have that confidence to be able to be curious and to be strong in that confidence, and that have that ability to be curious. And then resilient. We are not saying that all dogs need to be resilient like this so they can tackle anything. We're saying how to build resilience, understand resilience, how to measure it, and how to build it. But the adaptability is something that we know dogs are very good at, but I don't think we celebrate it enough or give enough options for our dogs to adapt to certain environments. And the V is valued. E, empowerment, that truly speaks for itself. But V, valued, I want to talk about the valued because we value what we call bad behavior, and I put that in quotation marks, as much as we do good behavior, the labels that we put on behavior that we don't like and behavior that we like, human-centered, I should say. But valued is that I think it's really important to value the behavior that we label as bad, because that's ageist behavior. But B, it's the dog communicating how it feels inside. So why aren't we valuing it? Why are we trying to suppress it? We need to value it as much as we value the behavior that we like. That's why the V is in there. So anyway, Aly, I've talked a lot about it, but brave, that's our baby. We started developing this in the pandemic, by the way.
Oh, yes. This was in the time. Do you remember my Charlie Day room? If you've seen that meme before where he has the crazy stuff and it's almost like you're following a murderer and you have the string going everywhere. Like that's what my room looked like with all the smelly markers. I was probably sucking in some of those fumes, but that's where we were organizing it. And Vic, you didn't talk about the E, empowered. And I think
E, empowered. I was like, E, I did. But I glossed over it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get to be valued, but it's true.
We want dogs to be empowered, but we also want people to be empowered. Yeah, and that's what Brave is all about. So Brave gives people immediate solutions that we call prevention strategies. So you can prevent this behavior you don't want right away. And that also helps keep your dog safe. It prevents them from practicing this behavior over and over again, making it stronger. And we also offer life skills. So while we do say that this is for coping, so dogs that struggle in life, it also is for dogs to thrive. So even if your dog is doing really well, you can take Brave and help your dog thrive in situations, not only, just in scary situations, but just in everyday situations. And what I like most about Brave is that we have these follow along materials. these things that will truly help you learn, that are evidence-based and moving things from short-term memory into long-term memory. So again, you're applying them right away, you're connecting them to what you already know, and you're building on that knowledge and skills so that you'll be able to do both and truly help your dog.
Yeah, I love it. Brave it's a series of courses, and let's go through them. I mentioned it briefly, but first of all, you start with what is Brave? And
yes,
then,
so we usually have a starter course. That the starter course helps you decide, like, is this right for me? But what is Brave really gives you an insight into what is about to happen. So buckle up, Buttercup, because it's about to get fun, but we also provide solutions right away in what is Brave.
Yeah, and I love that. We talk about prevention, that we give prevention strategies, which is our short-term solution, and then we give them a skill and start to talk about the long-term solutions. So that is the short-term solutions, the things that people can put in right away to help their dog. I think that's the beauty of it as well. So it provides safety and relief for dogs as well. But it's also relief for people, because in my experience, obviously working this industry for so long, the people are so stressed when their dogs have issues and they don't know what to do, and they've been given so much conflicting advice and they're completely at sea with it all. And then you go in and say, hey, we're just going to do this to give you relief. And I think that's the beauty. But when we're talking about short-term solutions, when we're talking about prevention strategies, we are talking about the start of a new journey. So when you're preventing behavior, you're actually still teaching a dog, and you're starting them on a new journey to maybe feel differently about a certain situation or circumstance that they're in. So this course, a series of courses is, first of all, it starts with what is Brave. And then the first one is what I've talked about. It's ensuring safety. It's how can we create environments, both inside and out, where our dogs aren't just safe, but they feel safe too.
Yeah, so we talk about mental and physical safety because, it's true, safety first. And that's why we put it first, because it's really important that not only is your dog safe, but you feel safe and society around you feels safe. So your neighbors, people in your household, people coming over to your household, people that you see on the street. So we want to be sure that everyone both is safe physically and feels safe emotionally. Next is gaining understanding. And this one, Vic, is personally my favorite because I think without understanding, and what I mean by understanding is mutual understanding, both between dog and person, we really can't have the rest of Brave. So gaining understanding is about two-way communication, not only observing your dog, and so listening to your dog is what we call it, and also responding to your dog. So we talk about how you listen, which is watching dog body language, so you understanding the language of dogs, and then also how you can communicate or cue or respond to your dog.
Yeah, I love it. I love gaining understanding. And then the next one, of course, is building resilience. And who doesn't want to help their dogs by encouraging that confidence? And we do that by building resilience. And when we talk about measuring resilience, we measure the sort of rate of recovery in dogs, in like how long does it take them to bounce back from a scary noise or like a chair falling over or something. We measure that rate of recovery. And I think we have to be careful here because we're not saying that, we're going to put our dogs into situations in order them to build resilience or so they can become more resilient. It is about understanding what your dog can be comfortable in and how to help them become comfortable by building a bit more resilience.
Yeah. So then next is providing choice, which Vic talks a lot about choice, and we've talked about it together on stage, which is pretty cool. But in this course, we talk about how you can provide your dog with more choice in life. Because if you think about it, how many choices does your dog really have in a day versus if they were out living in the wild as they once were? How many choices did they have? So we want to help empower dogs by giving them more choice, more autonomy throughout their day, because evidence suggests that beings are more comfortable, feel safer if they have the power of choice.
100%. We're not saying that we got to give our dog just free rein, but we are saying when you give a dog some kind of agency, when you give them a sense of autonomy, it truly empowers them. And that's what that E part of Brave is it is about empowerment. And then encouraging adaptability. You know, domesticity is all about the ability to cope with novelty. And our dogs are having to cope with novelty all the time. Dogs live in a world full of very sudden contrasts. They don't know what's going to happen to them. You have an agenda of what you're going to do for your day and who's going to come and who's going to go, but your dog doesn't know. And so they live in this world of uncertainty of what's going to happen next. It's not very predictable. So you can encourage that by making your environment a bit more predictable, but you can also help them learn how to cope with these sudden changes, sudden contrasts in their life. And then after that, of course, is creating confidence.
Creating confidence is all about giving you confidence and giving your dog confidence to be able to go into these situations that were once scary. So this is giving you, again, skills that you need to help your dog. So we teach the emergency U-turn, which is how to get out of Dodge. I call it bail, 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 which is if you accidentally find yourself in a situation that neither you nor your dog can cope with, you can get out of it quickly. And then we also teach touch to give your dog the power of autonomy, maybe to say, hey, I want to go closer to that thing, or hey, maybe I want to go further away from that thing, and letting you know that they're engaging with you, they're communicating with you. So it gives you something clear to do. It gives them something clear to do so that you actually know what to do in these situations. But Vic, I must say my favorite one, other than the gaining understanding, is putting it all together. Mm-hmm. Because this is when we focus on adult learning and the synthesis of literally putting it all together, of all these courses that we've done, and we move up the ladder of understanding. So in the adult learning world, we have Bloom's taxonomy, which helps you understand, like, to what level do I need to be able to do this? So for example, if you're a Starbucks barista and you're making a coffee, you know how to follow, like, you can remember the recipe, you can understand the recipe, and you know how to apply it, like how to do it. But creating your own is like the next level of creating your own recipes. That truly shows mastery. So here, this is when we encourage you to create your own brave moment. So this is where you get to take what you've learned, apply it, and not only apply it, but start to create your own moments and apply them to what you want to actually do. So rather than going with all of our examples, you get to apply it to your own individual example. And throughout Brave, we incorporate different situations. Because I think one thing that's interesting is as soon as people get a hold of knowledge, what they want to do is spread it. So you go to a dinner party and somebody starts talking about their dog and you say, oh, I actually just took this course. Well, a lot of our activities throughout Brave help you do that. So we have these scenarios like, oh, Diana and her dog Frisky just encountered this situation. What would you do? So we're helping you immediately apply what you've learned. Those are those quizzes. So those of you who heard us say that there are quizzes and you groaned and you thought, ugh, not another multiple choice question to see if it's super straightforward, if I memorized it. No. This is not about memorization. This is about application. So we want to help you help these people. And these are actually real cases. We don't use their names, of course, but these are real cases that some of our trainers have seen. So you get to help people in the moment, these fake people, and apply your knowledge right away. And in addition, in Brave, not only do we talk about what's in Brave, but we also refer to other courses within Brave. So one of my favorite collections that we do refer to is How to Speak Dog. Is How Dogs Work. How
Dogs Work. Oh yeah, those are some of my favorite, and I want to talk about How to Speak Dog because that's just a beautiful lesson. We're gonna take a quick break, but we'll be back with Aly Lecznar.
Are you a dog trainer looking to take your knowledge and skills to the highest level? Or maybe you're a dog guardian interested in figuring out whether your love of dogs can translate into more of a career than a hobby. Or are you already working in the pet industry but recognize that you need to fill some gaps when it comes to how to manage dog behavior so that you can better serve your existing clients? No matter where you are on your journey, the Victoria Stilwell Academy has courses that can help you get to where you want to go. From our free Building Your Dog's Confidence starter course to the powerful Fundamentals of Dog Training and Behavior course, all the way up to our flagship Professional Dog Trainer course, we have options for every skill level and budget. All you have to do is be passionate about giving dogs the best lives possible. All of our courses are available online anywhere around the world 24/7. No gimmicky sales tactics where you need to act within a certain window to enroll. My amazing team at the Victoria Stilwell Academy understands that we need to be ready to serve you whenever the time is right for you to make the jump. Whether that means dipping your toes into our free courses or realizing your fullest professional dog training dream by enrolling in the dog trainer course. So, join the thousands of dog geeks like you that are a part of our amazing and supportive VSA family today. We have Academy specialists available to talk with you and figure out how we can help you reach your dog training goals, or you can enroll in a starter course for free right now. The Victoria Stilwell Academy. It's the future of dog training.
All right, I'm back with Aly Lecznar. We're talking about all things dog, of course, and these amazing courses we have at Positively. How to Speak Dog. Wow, that's a beautiful course. Essentially about body language.
Yes, it is. There's video, there's pictures, like gorgeous pictures of dogs. And not only are they literally pretty, but they're also beautiful in the sense that we get to see a wide variety of dog body language. So if you've ever wondered, what is my dog saying to me in this moment? How to Speak Dog will teach you. It will literally teach you the language of dogs as best as we understand in this moment. And it can help you apply that to the situation. So you become the best listener or observer of your dog. We refer to that course in almost all of our other courses because listening to your dog really is fundamental to training.
Yeah, it truly is. It truly is. It's a beautiful course. Now, when we're saying that we develop these courses for guardians, that's what we at Positively call dog owners, right? We call them guardians, but these courses, we also develop them to be a support and something that trainers could use with their clients. That trainers could also take themselves, because I think there's some fabulous knowledge in there. But also that people like vet techs and reception staff and people who work in rescue and groomers and dog walkers and pet sitters, that they can also use these courses for clients and help them understand dogs better as well. Because I know that being a trainer, especially when you're not part of a group of trainers, that sometimes it can be quite isolating, but also sometimes it feels like there's no support. And you're also exhausted because there's so much work. So it lightens that load if you have a behavior issue that you're dealing with and you're like, I actually really don't have time to go through body language with this person, but there's a great course at Positively that you can take that tells you all about body language.
Yeah, as a trainer, I used to have a PowerPoint presentation that I would give. And to anyone who's rolling their eyes and saying, oh God, that sounds quite dull. It was my client's favorite part of our consultation process. We would film their own dog and use footage to help them apply what they've learned and point out things with their dog. But rather than doing that and having every trainer in the world develop their own PowerPoint and their own presentation on dog body language, or referring to some video on YouTube that's like semi-accurate or like mostly accurate, this is something that you can get on board with as a trainer, that you can refer out. And honestly, I think it should be essential to any volunteer program or anyone that deals with dogs. This should be like mandatory in the orientation, that they should have to learn how to speak dog before they're going to work with dogs from a safety standpoint, and then also from a communication standpoint. You know, what's one of the most fundamental things when we talk about working with different species is you need to have an understanding of how that species communicates.
Yeah. 100%.
And then in addition to How to Speak Dog, another course, if you're wondering, like, what is my dog saying and why does he do that? We have a course called Why Does My Dog? ? So why does my dog do this? Why does my dog hump? Why does my dog bark? Why does my dog do the weird things that he or she does? So this is what this course can help you with and how it breaks it down. Some trainers may be saying, well, that kind of sounds like a functional assessment. Spoiler alert, it is.
It is.
But we don't talk about antecedent behavior consequence because that's a bit of a bore. And our guardians right now are saying, what? Instead, we teach them the where, when, what, why of behavior. So we break it down into these questions to help guardians understand truly what's going on in the moment and to become objective observers rather than jumping to labels and trying to see, like, applying emotions to our dogs when, yes, our dogs have emotions, but we may not know what they are in the moment. And we want to be sure to be true to our dogs, to observe them and truly listen to them.
I also love our courses, and maybe I should have said this from the beginning, but because I think these are foundational courses, but I also love the course Quick Fixes. And the illustration on it is a hand with a magic wand. And truly, quick fixes, they look like magic. They're not magic, but they look like magic. And of course, who doesn't want a quick fix? We know that we really in the dog training world don't really like that word fix, but we use it here because it's what a lot of guardians use with their dogs. So what are they?
Yeah, so quick fixes is when we can come in with our magic wand and wave it to really connect the needs and wants of the person and the dog. Because we at Positively believe that the person's needs are just as important as the dog's needs. I think sometimes we fall victim to this in positive training is we want to put the dog first. I think a lot of dog trainers do that we think the dog should be the center of the family, when in reality, not all people believe that. And they think that maybe that their job is more important or their kids or anything else. So we don't want to judge. We want to work with that person and help prioritize things and really solve their problems and help their dog be happier. So one way that we can do that is through quick fixes. And in training, we call this management. So managing the environment or antecedent arrangement, just trying to manipulate the environment in such a way to get what we want. And while, yes, we do that, we want to do it for both the dog and the person. So while we may put a dog behind a baby gate to avoid jumping on grandma, we want to give the dog something to do behind that baby gate. So we may give them a snuffle mat or a licky mat, but we don't just want to throw it back there and assume it works. We want to be sure that we evaluate the situation and be sure that the dog is comfortable. So we may practice it before we actually use it in a scary situation or when grandma walks in. So that's what Quick Fixes does, is it empowers guardians to use this in such a way that's truly dog friendly and also still accomplishes the goal.
Yeah, and provides relief for people too. I mean, truly, all of this stuff is a support system for them, but it helps provide that relief that they need. And then we have these other courses, which are quite sort of the doing courses, teaching your dog to do different cool things. And the courses that are in the life skills collection, which of course is what we call, I suppose, well, it's a life skill. I don't know what else to call them, but it's teaching our dogs to pay attention, to practice avoidance if they need to get out of there, to do an emergency U-turn, to greet, to learn how to settle, which is a skill in itself, to wait, to touch, go sniff. It's all good and we've got this. So these are really like action items. Notice there's no sit or down there. We're not teaching sit and downs. We're teaching things or skills that we feel that dogs need to be successful living in a human home.
And many people might say, well, Vic, I could just watch those on YouTube for free. So why would I take these courses? And I think the power of these courses is, yes, you can try and watch something on TikTok or some video on YouTube and try and replicate in your home. But what about when something goes wrong? Or what about when it doesn't work, like the trainer who waved their magic wand and made this happen with this dog? What if it doesn't work for you and your dog? What I like about our courses is that we troubleshoot. We also talk about what would happen if different types of dogs or different responses are going to come up. We also talk about how to apply this behavior. And that's what I think is super important. And that's why I think if I go back to the very beginning, when I talked about that client that comes to me that took a group class, maybe they can do sit in the kitchen for a cookie. Maybe they can do loose leash walking in the house, but the ball dropped when it came to applying those things to their everyday life. So the walks are still a struggle when they actually walk in their neighborhood, their dog pulls, or if they see a squirrel, or if they, see anything distracting. And sit doesn't happen when they're at the park or when they don't have anything in their pockets. So life skills help you apply. And we do this by having videos, also talking about the purpose of these skills, why we teach them, how we teach them, and what you can do with them. And we provide handouts and worksheets to help you think about how you're going to apply this and what the next steps are. And my favorite part about all of the Positively curriculum is that we refer to these courses in other courses. So for example, Brave refers to life skills, and Brave will help you apply the life skill. So the courses are adding on the big courses that we have. And what I mean by big is like a big collection, like Brave or Reactivity is going to help you take the life skill courses to the next level.
Then I do another one of my favorites is leash skills, because doesn't everybody need leash skills? I mean, that's some of the number one complaints that I get from dog guardians is that my dog pulls on the lead and I've tried everything.
Yes. And what I think is interesting about leash skills is it's not so much about what the dog should be doing. It's what about the human should be doing, because there is the human side of the leash and there are things that we can be doing. But I think what's great about that is that it puts the onus on us as the guardians, that we don't have to teach our dog. We don't have to spend the time learning ourselves and then teaching it to our dog, because essentially that's what you are as a guardian. You are a teacher to your dog. So you are having to learn from Positively about dogs and teaching dogs, and then you have to go teach it to your dog. So here for leash skills, it's just teaching yourself. So these are things that you can learn and you can practice on your own and then apply with your dog and get immediate relief from the pulling that you're experiencing. I also like in our basic training collection, getting started in training, because maybe this is your first time, or maybe you're not getting the results that you wanted. And so getting started in training helps you start. Maybe you watch people on social media and these trainers look like magic. You think, oh my gosh, they just have such a way with animals. That's just not me. I just don't have that connection with animals. I love my dog, but I just, some people think that dog trainers are just magic. And frankly, we're not. We just have good timing. We understand contingencies. And so getting started in training can help you. And we're good at preparing the environment. So getting started in training can help you do all three. It can help you prepare the environment, work on your mechanics, and understand the timing and what needs to come afterwards to make that behavior increase in frequency.
At the start of this podcast, I was telling everybody how I got so excited, telling everybody after I'd recorded some of the narration for this amazing course, Reactivity, that is coming soon. It is a beautiful beast. And the reason why I say beast, it's because it's taken a lot of thought and understanding and development. You, me, Maya. But this course is pretty extraordinary. And I think it takes the understanding of reactivity to the next level. It pushes the boundaries of what people are doing right now, or how they think about reactivity and how they're dealing with reactivity. It pushes them to the next level.
It does. Reactivity is going to talk about the reactivity zones. And what we mean by that is this is a concept where we can see dog body language. There's a spectrum of dog body language in the same way that there's a spectrum of human body language. So when you're at home, you may be super comfortable. You're slouching on the couch, you're breathing evenly, and you're doing affiliative behaviors or things like petting your dog or hugging your child. Whereas if you step into an elevator, you get a little more stiff. You're not as fluid. You are looking around side to side and not speaking and not engaging in affiliative behaviors, because that would be weird if you hug a person in an elevator that you don't know. And then when you're in conflict with someone, you may be yelling. You may be waving your arms around. You may be much more tense and clenching your jaw. These are the zones of reactivity. We have the comfort zone, the tolerance zone, and the discomfort zone. And by applying these zones to your dog and understanding these concepts, we give you the skills you need to be able to increase the comfort zone. And that's really different. Normally, when people deal with reactivity in the dog training world, they just want to teach alternative behaviors. They want to teach their dog to do something else, but it doesn't necessarily change the way the dog feels, because reactive dogs are dogs with big feelings. And this course really focuses on how to teach those dogs to increase comfort, decrease discomfort, and to truly help their guardians understand what that means and how to do it in the moment.
Yeah, I think we rush to what we call desensitization, counter conditioning, and we rush to that. And dogs are merely tolerating. Are they truly? They might not. You might, and I'm not dissing that at all. By the way, I think it's important, but I do feel like it's overused and too much emphasis is put, because quite frankly, people are like at a loss. They have to deal with this reactivity quickly, and then of course, there's the punitive side, which we don't even go to. But when this course really explores what your dogs are going through, and how if you truly want that behavior or your dog not to exhibit that behavior, it's not just about mere tolerance. It's not just about mere suppression. It's truly the dog feeling differently about something. So when we use even positive methods when we're dealing with dogs like this, and we go through our desensitization and counter conditioning, and wow, lo and behold, the dog doesn't react as the other dog comes past. That's great. But how does your dog feel about it? And is the dog going to react down the road? Have you truly changed the way the dog feels, or merely dogs tolerating? And I see a lot of dogs tolerating stuff, and toleration is not bad. I mean, we have to tolerate stuff in our environment all the time. But if we really want to get to the bottom of reactivity, we have to appreciate the dog's experience of the world. And if we really want to ensure that the dog doesn't feel the need to react, we really have to pay attention to it. So this course is coming soon. It is magnificent. It's magnificent because I think it might kind of blow up your world a little bit in the way that we work with reactivity and think about it and talk about it. But look, I mean, we're always, I think these courses are just sort of pushing the needle in the direction where the needle wants to go. We can stay in the old way, but I don't want to stay in the old way. I think we're better as trainers when we evolve. So you can argue all you like about what's better, the old way, the new way, being progressive, being whatever. But things don't change for the better if they just stay where they are.
Yeah, and I think part of the struggle with desensitization and counter conditioning is that they're difficult to do. You almost need to be a dog trainer to have this great timing and these mechanics, and to be able to do setups in such a way that keeps the dog under threshold. So what I like about reactivity and learning the reaction zones and learning the different skills that are good for the handler skills and the team skills, that's why we refer to skills that include both the handler and the dog, these are things that guardians, everyday guardians, can implement and track. I think that's the big thing, is that the last lesson in the reactivity course is all about tracking progress, because I think that's a major part that's missing. Again, reflecting back on the dog that went to group class and the guardians that went to group class that can't remember or retain it or apply it, is that we provide a reactivity workbook that allows people to take a baseline in such a way that's an easily digestible way, and track or almost take data, again, in an easily digestible way for the everyday dog guardian to track their progress as they go. And that's another thing that we do at Positively, is all of our courses are tracked. So what we mean by that is we evaluate what goes on, and we use different levels of evaluation. And one of those are success stories.
Mm-hmm. We love the success stories.
Woo! We love these success stories. So one of the ways that is actually an evidence-based way to evaluate something is to talk about how you've applied what you've learned, quote unquote, on the job. So we take some of this from human training, and to track behavior change, we need to know, was the person actually able to apply what they learned in the situation in which they needed it? So success stories are a way to do that. Not only are they great that they get to, promote the course and talk about what people knew, but it serves a function for the people that make the success story. It helps them reflect on their journey. It helps them apply what they knew and identify what's important to them. And it helps them apply it to their own example. And that also can connect with other people. So Vic, you can probably take that in terms that's not as nerdy.
No, look, we've got some success stories here. Positive methods for powerful dogs, that a member of the dog training community has been inspired to build force-free connection with these strong, some people call them high drive dogs. Some people have an issue with that, or high aggression dogs, that this person is using positive methods to help those dogs very, very successfully. And then you've got, a person that has a very barky lab spaniel mix who now is so much, less vocal, but not because of suppressing that bark, because of understanding that bark. We've got flops brings joy and comfort, so that somebody talking about their experience with that flops their dog, which I think is the best, FLOPZ. Oh my gosh, or Z. That's a great name, but it's a little Tibetan spaniel, and it brought her guardian a wonderful supportive connection and reason to smile. And that was because they sought help from a VSA dog trainer. So these are, oh gosh, don't we need that right now in this world? We need fabulous success stories. We need to have good stuff, because there's so much not great stuff in the world. So these success stories are wonderful, and we encourage people to share theirs.
I feel like that's the ultimate evaluation, is if we can make somebody smile.
Right.
I mean, is that not the best evaluation that we could be given? Oh my goodness, That's amazing.
Isn't it just? Gosh. Well, Aly, we're going to leave it there, but I just want to thank you.
Well, thank you. I would like to end with one thing.
Yes,
Vic,
please do.
I can't leave it as an adult learning expert. I can't leave it alone. So to make the most of this podcast, if you're listening with us, I want to ask you to use some synthesis questions. So perhaps you've listened to this podcast and you want to ask yourself, so that you can move all this information you've digested from short-term into long-term memory, what are the important concepts that I should remember from this podcast? How could I explain these concepts to someone else in my own words? How do these relate to what I already know? And are there any terms I'm not familiar with, and how would I define them? So you can ask yourself these questions and take your learning to the next level. Connect with us on Facebook, on social media, and maybe share some of those things with us.
Aly, this is why you're such a wonderful educator, and you are using your talents to really affect change in the dog training world worldwide. And that's what Positively is doing. That's what VSA is doing when we are teaching people to be trainers so that they can go out in their communities. And you are a very large part of that, and a very treasured part of that. So thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. And guys, I hope that you've learned a lot today about these amazing courses. Do go to positively.com and sign up and test run a few. You'll like them. I know you will. And I think they really will. You're going to find nuggets of information on there. Even if you're a seasoned trainer, you're going to find nuggets of information that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that's cool. I'm going to use that. Use it. Take it. Have fun with it. Because this is all about improving the lives of that human dog team.
And leave a success story.
Please do. We love to hear from you. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Victoria Stilwell's Positively podcast. For Victoria's online dog training courses, more information, and helpful dog training tips, visit Victoria's official website at positively.com. Get connected on Facebook, Instagram, and other social media as Victoria Stilwell, and follow her on Twitter at Victoria S. Learn to become a professional dog trainer with the Victoria Stilwell Academy at vsdogtrainingacademy.com. And be sure to tune in next time as Victoria helps you and your dog live your best life together. Positively.